So yeah, first of all, Vaibhav, welcome to Humans Behind CX. It's great to have you over here, and discussing about retail, discussing about what online and offline is in terms of shopping, in terms of experience. I guess a lot of people will be watching, this particular specific episode. They'll have a lot of understanding from your ideas, from your concepts, from your experiences, that how to uh, work upon a lot of things. There might be a possibility people have doubts, they might come down to you in terms of discussing those things as well. And I've talked to a lot of people. I've discussed a lot of things with respect to how a retail as an industry, or I would say D2C as an industry comes down into play, where apparel as a product is. So for me, I'm really excited to discuss a lot of things. I would say about you, about Bombay Shirt, about your previous experiences and these kind of things. So Weber, just one thing for all those people who will be viewing this, I would love to uh, like you giving your introduction about where you are currently, what you've done, where you've come from, and these kind of things. So this will help people in terms of understanding your background as well.
Awesome, awesome. Jayesh, and by the way, Jayesh, likewise, what a fantastic opportunity to speak to you. You guys being service and some, you have so much intelligence, and I guess the NDRs don't allow, NDAs don't allow you to share all of them. But you guys are like a plethora of information, right? And the intelligence that you guys know about customers is always interesting and helpful to know. Uh, Needless to say, that it gives us, maybe shows us the right direction, and maybe gives us the confidence that if the direction that we are going is correct or not, right? So pleasure talking to you, man. Thank you so much for
Thank
inviting.
you so much.
Right, so my name is Vaibhav. I've been in the industry for a little over 15 years now. Started my career in L&D. Well, I loved training. Uh, I mean, it was just something that I got an opportunity to do. Started with a company called Capita. They were doing a partnership project with a UK telecom service provider called O2. So got an opportunity to go to UK, set up processes. That was probably my first introduction to the world of retail, because I never thought I'll be doing retail. L&D is typically setting up processes, training people, behavioral trainings, and all of that. O2 is massive in UK, and they were trying to change the way their stores give experience to customers. Um, so the first project, as soon as I landed, I went to their massive O2 office in Leeds, was to visit competitors. So go to a mall, visit multiple competitors, and then visit O2, create a case study, and come back, which was really, really exciting because I had not come across something like this in India first. Uh,
Mm.
Also gave me an opportunity to understand how people function, right? So how does a customer feel? How the greeting at the store, the introduction, the VM, everything matters to a customer. How brand versus brand, it's different. What's the language of a brand? For example, 3G as a brand is a very youth centric brand. So the entire experience at the store was around that. The staffing was around that. O2 is a customer whose TG is 35 to 55. It's a little mature, little expensive. So the VM was around that. The experience was around that. People were offered coffee. People were offered to sit down. You kind of understand these nuances when you visit yourself, but when you actually ask to do a case study around it, you kind of, get into the nitty-gritties of it, and it makes it so clear to understand that these actually matter and they influence decisions.
Correct.
Came down to India, that time Jio was starting, and my retail experience worked. So got an opportunity to work with Jio as a state training in charge. Um, and then a couple of startup stints, worked at Soul Store, trying to build up the L&D and customer experience vertical, the transactional quality vertical for Soul Store stores as well as
Mm.
CX. Worked with Sleepy Cat, set up their first SIS store with Wooden Street. And then currently I'm working at Bombay Shirt Company. Started as running CX, and now I lead retail as well. So yeah, quite a roller coaster.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming down from a L&D department to CX, like quite a
And then
shift,
retail.
and then retail. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. Like a crazy shift, I would say.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, Vaibhav, thank you for your introduction. And I guess, this would definitely help a lot of people to understand, not just in terms of like, talking to you, listening to you in terms of how retail functions, but, to have a hope that if they want to switch careers, how exactly this can happen as well.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. So, there's a lot of overlap between L&D and CX because you're
Absolutely. See, I come down from a CX and the sales background as well, right?
correct.
So in my career, I guess I've trained I don't know how many people. Like I can't even keep a count. Where
Yeah,
I started with edtech, I came down to B2B commerce, then SaaS, and continuing with SaaS. So like selling multiple products, training a lot of people. So I guess there's a lot of correlation in terms of interacting with your executives and interacting with the customer, because customer is paying you, an executive who's working with you in sales is bringing you money as well. So
yeah,
you need to make sure that the treatment is something similar to what exactly you're treating your customer as.
yeah, yeah.
So I totally understand that there's a very much correlation on that.
So shout out to Avnish Anand. Yeah. Avnish Anand is the former CEO of Carrot Lane, one of the sharpest minds in retail operations. I mean, he's extremely intelligent guy, and had an opportunity to hear him and understand and all of that. And he told me something. He said, "Web of CX is people, people is CX." It's all about that, making sure the people are trained well, they follow processes. That's all. That's what CX is. It's not rocket science, and kind of the L&D experience and the CX experience complemented the entire job in the sense that it's all about developing people, setting up processes, telling people to do the right things. Um, so it's not very different actually. In a typical Venn diagram, they will all intersect.
Got it. So Weber, I'll start from a very basic aspect. Like we are talking about experience, we are talking about retail over here. So like in your recent experience, if I talk about, you might go to a lot of brands now, working in retail, or if I say working in a segment which is purely D2C. Whenever you enter a store, whenever you enter somewhere, your lens is something where you're observing a lot of things, right? So when is the last time you had a very great retail experience, whether offline, online, or and what made it memorable? And on the contrary, if I say a experience which is not that great, or I would say frustrated you as a customer towards any kind of a brand, you can skip the name of the brand, but what exactly was the reason of that great experience and a frustrating experience?
Yeah, yeah. So to start off with so people say you remember the negative experiences more than the positive experiences,
Correct.
right? Um, I kind of remember the positives more than the negatives. Maybe because I'm in the industry and you kind of want to learn the best practices and all of that. So I have a couple of really good experiences, right? And if I don't know if you remember, but when CCD started, they had these jukeboxes where you could pay 5 rupees, scratch the card, and play the music and all that. I was quite young in my college. And we used to spend a lot of time over there. What really made them exceptional and keeping aside what happened at CCD later on, very unfortunate. But what made them extremely different than everybody else was that if you remember, every time you got a bill, it meant it had your name mentioned on it. But that was unheard of
Mhm.
in India. They were the pioneers, right? First mover advantage. They were the pioneers of that.
Absolutely.
Um, and then that's probably the first time I understood what personalization is, right? Radisson Blue does that very well. Every time you go to Radisson Blue, Not typically, you go to a restaurant, they will tell you what the Wi-Fi password is and what time the complimentary breakfast is and all of that. They give you a card, Radisson Blue, and the card with a really nice design mentions as to which times are really busy and which times are. So the typical problem when you check into a restaurant and go to a for a complimentary breakfast is always too busy,
Correct.
extremely busy, and it's basically a great complimentary. Who doesn't like complimentary breakfast, right? It's your favorite part of staying
Absolutely.
at a restaurant, right? My wife loves complimentary breakfast, right? It's your favorite part of staying at a restaurant. But what the most important part of staying at the restaurant is spoiled by the crowd, and they've solved it so well. Now they don't really have to do that. Obviously there's a cost involved, and it's busy hotel and you need to spend time, and the very so I'm sure they track their turnaround time as well. The phones are always ringing, the staff has to be busy all the time. So they and every time you explain that to people, it takes time, so there is a trade-off, but they've purposely accepted that trade-off because they understand how important that experience is. And that simple explanation of, so here's a card, just in case you want to come to the breakfast at a leaner time. 7 to 8 would be fantastic. If you're okay with a little bit of crowd, then I would suggest you come at 8 to 9, and 9 to 10 is super busy, so just giving you a heads up around that. Now it obviously takes time, it has a revenue impact, it also has impact on other operational aspects of the restaurant or the hotel. But they've purposely taken that call because they understand and now you can't really measure that in terms of experience, right? And I'm sure it's changing the way your vacation is happening because you're every day getting up and you know when to go for the breakfast and you're enjoying the breakfast and all of that. But you're really never going to mention that on a particular form that, hey, by the way, breakfast was my drink. It doesn't happen, right? It's a given. But they're continuously doing that trade-off, and that's hats off to them, right? And online, I think IDFC Bank is doing a mind-blowing job, right? In the banking sector, and we all come from CX, so we understand in the banking sector, CX is completely broken.
Absolutely.
Can never connect to agents, and the industry one term that they follow very closely is order to query ratio, where you're typically trying to avoid the number of people who are calling you. Are you
Absolutely.
IDFC? What it does is, the number of times it messages you saying this is your RM, and if you have any questions, contact them. If you go on the app, the first thing that you see is a big postcard of the RM's name and number and everything. And that's fantastic. Every time you call their CX line or the customer service line, it connects really swiftly. Or if you call your RM directly, the RM takes care of everything. I mean, there are RMs in other banks as well, but the emphasis that IDFC gives, it's almost like an RM calls you every month. Just calls you and says, "Hey, I hope you're okay. Everything is going well. Just in case you need something, please give me a buzz." This goes completely against every other industry practice, right? Where you're typically trying to avoid conversations with the customers. They're going against. And obviously, we all know how well IDFC is doing in the banking sector, right? They're doing a mind-blowing job. Unfortunately, the bad experience is with a very well-known sports shoe brand. I'm not gonna uh, check the name, but whom I'm mentioning, right? Now, here's what happened. I went on their website and I was typically trying to order a particular type of shoe. But as I was mentioning earlier offline, right, that there are in particular categories, assisted sales is extremely important. Shoes is one of
Correct.
them, right? So you want to
I
try
totally
the shoe,
agree.
you want to feel it and all of that. So I went to one of their stores, and I guess it is a franchisee store, but it still doesn't take away the fact that it's representing the brand because it's
And
literally
correct.
that
Yeah.
brand store. And that brand is known for a lot of international employees coming to India and working at this store. So there was this international girl, I think one of the South Asian countries. She was assisting me, and apparently they didn't have that in size, in my size. Like that particular model wasn't like or style wasn't there in my size. So I said, hey, listen, and I had a screenshot from online, right? Nowadays, discovery happens online and offline both, right? You do on
Obviously.
you go to offline and vice versa, right? So I had a screenshot of the product that I want. So as they call it in the industry, I'm an important customer. I'm a gold lead, as they call it, right? Because my intent of buying is quite high. I've
Buying is
taken
high. Correct.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. She told me that she will order it, but I mean she doesn't have it, and she can order it, but only if I guarantee that I'm going to buy it, which was
Yeah.
kind of a turn
I
off for me.
I been there. I totally agree on that. This is
I mean,
something which
I
has
don't
happened with me as
understand.
well.
As in, why not? If okay, first of all, if I had a guarantee of buying that, I would have ordered online, tried the product, didn't like it, returned it, right?
Yeah,
The only
correct.
reason I've come to the store is because I want to try the product and maybe see the fit, see the feel, see the look, and all of that. And it's an expensive product. It's not cheap. It's an expensive
Mm.
product. Yeah. I mean, and that experience just left a bad taste in my mouth, feeling that, hey, listen, I am trusting you all, and you're supposed to be the performance brand and the number one brand in the world and all of that in terms of running shoes and all of that, right? I trust you all. Do you guys trust me? Because I didn't give her a reason not to, right? I had a
Correct.
screenshot.
Yeah.
So I guess what broke over there is the L&D, right? So I mean, the L&D team didn't. So she come down all the way from a foreign country to India to get experience and all of that. But I guess the L&D team didn't define clearly as to what she's supposed to understand, how to differentiate.
Absolutely. It's more like reading between the lines, understanding the intent.
Yeah.
See, whenever, even for example, when we talk to people, right, and we have certain assessment factors in terms of addressing that, whether how willing this person is in terms of, understanding what they want to talk or understanding the product or any kind of a thing. And this is not just gap in terms of, I would say, retail. Even if you see on a lot of things, like for example, you go to a restaurant, you ask someone that, what is your best dish over here? Trust me, they'll always name something which is one of the most expensive in the menu.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Right. So it's more like, and coming down from a sales background, trust me on this thing, whenever someone, try to do this thing, I always have a smirk on my face.
Yeah. Yeah.
यार हमें ही बेच रहे हो मतलब I can't explain you what I do, but that's the thing. But I tell you one thing. I'll share one of my experiences over here. So there's this. I again won't name the brand, but there's this store I put up in Noida. So there's this small called DLF. You have a Bombay Shirt store over there as well. So it's Mall
Yeah.
of India. So
Yeah.
there's this sports brand showroom over there. So once I went over there, and I had this kind of screenshot. I wanted to try a shoe, and I went over there. Again, the size wasn't available. Trust me, the store manager was like, "Sir, आप कितनी देर हो यहाँ पे?" So I was like, "I'm here for like around good 1 or 2 hours." So he was like, "Give me 1 hour. What I'll do is we have a store in the next mall. I'll ask someone to bring that particular size. You can try it and trust me on this thing." When you know he called me 1.5 hour later. He was like, "Sir, your shoe is here. You can come. You can try." Trust me on this thing. I went there. I tried it and bought it.
Exactly, exactly. And it's not about a sale, right? It's not because you want to sell, that's why you should be doing it. It's about the experience. What are you telling the customer?
Absolutely.
Right? You're telling the customer, listen, you're important for me. And even if you don't buy, I'm okay to show it for you. And we trust you, you should trust us.
Correct. Absolutely. See, it's not about that. I'll give you one more example. So there's this, local restaurant in Noida, and that's a very old restaurant. And a lot of people who put up over there might know this. Its name is Uncle's, right? And it's a very nostalgic place for a lot of people who've been born and brought up there in 90s or something like that. So once what exactly happened, we went for dinner over there. I went for dinner with my family. We had that, we had our dinner and left. What exactly we got packed, right? So they called us, and we were there on the way. So we were almost home, and they called us that, "Sir, you forgot what you got packed." Trust me on this thing. They sent someone from the restaurant to our place to get that thing delivered. no extra charges, nothing. It is just pure service, what exactly they did. And that was not just an experience, that was something way beyond what exactly it is, right? And
100%.
this stays with you forever.
100%. 100%. Unforgettable experience are created like that. And you win the trust of the customer forever. There was a time when that brand used to do very well, the brand that I was talking about, right? And you could not think of any other brand when you were buying shoes. But today the industry has become so clustered, and the new age guys are
Correct.
doing so well. So you cannot really take your experience for granted. You know, I guess one thing is for sure in retail, right? They all say that hire smart people and intelligent people. I'm sure she was intelligent and foreign educated and all of that. Spoke really well and everything. But clarity beats intelligence. You need to know what you're doing and what are you supposed to do and all of that. If she had the clarity of the next steps and taken the right steps, I guess the experience would have been completely different.
Correct. So, Vaibhav, we are talking about Phygital over here, where we want to connect both physical and digital experience, but still, as a customer, as a uh, person from a CX background, whenever I visit a lot of stores, whenever I visit a lot of retail outlets, I see there's still a lot of disconnect between the website and the store, right? So what do you think, why does this happen?
Um, I'm going to start with these are two different people altogether. One thing that you really have to understand is the customers who are buying online are the customers who are buying online, and the customers who are buying offline are the customers who are buying offline. I'll give you an example, right? Of this example of this sports shoe brand. I discovered the product online, but I'm an offline buyer, so I went to the store to buy. I could have bought it online. I could have tried it. They have a 30 days trial. I could have returned it and I could have got a refund. But I'm just not an online buyer. Similarly, an online buyer would go to a store, try a product, look at the product, feel the product, come online, wait for the deal to happen, or go on Amazon or Flipkart or Myntra, and then buy it offline. So there are two different customers. Now, having said that, it doesn't mean that you do not give them the full service.
Hmm.
So the onus of giving the full service to the customers lies with the teams. Now, what happens is because teams work in silos, they don't speak to each other. And typically, a customer service team would feel that they are the guardians of online customers. And a retail team would feel that they are a guardian of retail store customers. So when an online customer goes to a retail store, they treat him differently. They don't give them the full experience that they're supposed to give. Um, and similarly, a retail customer when contacts CX online and all of that, the CX team doesn't give the full experience because they feel they're two different teams working against each other. And coming back to the Avnish ka example, right? One thing, Avnish, Chippy, Akshay, Sai, all of these leaders at our company, right? One of the decisions of, I mean, one of the reasons to trust me with retail is because I come from CX and I understand CX. And we wanted all of these teams to work together. So, one thing that happened after I took over retail is that suddenly our NPS went up. Suddenly the founder escalations dropped. Suddenly the number of escalations dropped. Now, it's not like I was doing something different. I was handling CX at stores as well as CX here, right? Earlier as well. What changed was suddenly the store team started feeling that CX is for us as well. And suddenly the teams at HO here started feeling that, oh, stores are also ours. So they all started working together and started giving the full experience to the customer. So to summarize, we cannot say that it's the same customer. There are two different customers.
Correct.
But the teams have to work together and understand that no matter what, you need to give the full experience to the customer.
Absolutely. So, see, you had a point over here that there are two sets of people, an online buyer and an offline buyer. What I feel, because I come down from a third segment, I
Yeah,
am a price aspect buyer. If I'm buying something which is under 5K, I might order it online. But if I
yeah,
say I'm buying something which is more than 5K, I would definitely want to, it's not about having a policy of return.
yeah.
Right, returning itself is a disappointment, and I would say is
100%.
is more like a second work for me to get that thing
Yeah,
processed again,
yeah,
then wait for the money to come back, and then these kind of things.
yeah,
Right. So I am one of those buyers. If I feel that this is something which is looking good, I prefer going to the store, trying it, you know, having that kind of an understanding, and then buying it. I don't mind paying a 500 or 1,000 rupees extra if that product is that good.
yeah,
Right. There might be a possibility if you buy online, you might have seen a lot of website gives you additional discount.
yeah,
Right. But still, if I say if it's something on a higher price segment, I would prefer buying it offline in terms of doing
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So still on that particular factor, I'll give you an example. I've talked about it previously as well. So this is a new age brand. You've named it over here as well, a Shark Tank brand. And I buy a lot of stuff online from them because it's not that expensive. But I was in Bangalore once and I went to their store. I almost bought things for like around 9-10,000 rupees. And while having the billing done, he took my number, he again took my name, he had to fill in all the details again in terms of, whatever people take in terms of getting the bill processed. So I asked him that, I've bought multiple things online. So, taking my number, don't you have my details over there? So he was swift enough to answer no, sir. And then he had a, like excuse that अभी recently खुला है sir, तो online offline connected नहीं है, नया store है, we are building up the data and these kind of things. So what I felt was that as an organization, as a person who's owning this particular department, it should be a background work. This is not a store work. This is not a
yeah,
front end work. This is
yeah,
a background thing that whenever you're setting something up, your channels should be interconnected properly. You don't
yeah,
know who your whether an online buyer who's there जिसके घर के बगल में स्टोर खुल गया, he would prefer going there and buying.
yeah, yeah,
Right. So I had that disconnect in terms of understanding in my understanding towards the brand. And trust me, when something again I bought online, I gave them this feedback that your offline and online is not connected. This breaks the customer journey
yeah,
because you don't know, for you these are two different people again with the same credentials.
yeah,
Doesn't make a
yeah,
like there's no understanding towards it that whether this person is happy in the store and happy buying online as well.
yeah.
Right. So
So I'll tell you
but
why.
yes.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Listen, I completely understand where you're coming from, right? I know exactly why this happens, right? Typically, D2C brands who are doing really well online extend into offline, thinking that's another source of revenue.
Hmm.
Now, as I said earlier, right, clarity beats intelligence. So you need to be clear as to why you're doing this. If the why is always, oh, this is another extension to get revenue, then you're optimizing only for revenue and not experience. So it's not very difficult to have a unified omni-channel system for people to have. We have it. In fact, today, if you go to any of our stores where we have valet parking, and if you use the valet parking once, typically when you go to any other store, the guy knows that you know where you require a valet. So when you book an appointment, the guy books for the valet. in advance,
Mm.
right? So the reason why this happens very seamlessly is because we are not optimizing only for revenue, we are optimizing for experience. The story
Got it.
here is you go to our store, you give your measurements, we have it on file, and the next time you want to place an order quickly online without going to a store, you have the option available,
Correct.
right? But if you're only optimizing for revenue, then you're not really thinking about the experience, and then the experience breaks, and then franchising models and this and that, and that's where the entire thing breaks. So I think experience has to
Correct.
be at the center.
Absolutely. So, where do you think most of the brands are, getting omni-channel wrong?
Um, so again, same answer, right? To summarize all the things that I've said. One, they don't understand that they're two separate customers.
Hmm.
We tried our level best for our offline customers to buy online and our online customers to buy offline. Just doesn't happen. There are a clear set of customers who stay like 5 minutes up. We've taken store decisions basis online customer base, and they never came to the store. We've acquired new customers, and the stores are doing really well. So touch wood. But the same customers who are buying online. So typically, when you open a store, you think about, okay, how much online orders does that catchment give you, and it gives you confidence to open the store, right? Those customers never came. And we thought that, okay, now I have your measurements on the file. You're gonna come online and place an order. Customers never did that. There's something called as experience, right? You want to go to the store. We offer coffee, we offer ice cream. We at our flagship stores, we also have grooming, free grooming, and all of that. Nobody else is doing what we're doing, right? It's all about experience here. So you don't want to miss that. You want to have an entire experience. When you place an order online, let's say you're traveling in 2 days, right? And you need something really quickly, you will place an order online, and because you have the
Absolutely.
confidence that we have the measurements on the file. When you
Hmm.
have a little bit of time, you want to enjoy the entire experience, you would definitely come online. So the struggle of pushing customers to come each way, right, breaks the omni channel experience. Second, coming out of the mindset that CX is all about solving queries. Basically, it's not CX, then it's CS. It's customer service, so it's not customer experience. Experience is all about the experience the customer has. So it's not just about how easy the return is or how good the product is, or the stylist didn't give me enough time, or the trial room was too busy, and all of that. It's to start with whether the valet guy knew you or he didn't know you,
Hmm. Correct.
or Or did they offer you, did they remember the ice cream flavor that you liked last time? Because our Pali Hill stores and our Thames Corner stores have our Bombay Shirt Company branded ice creams, right? Did the stylist remember the ice cream that you liked last time? And did they offer you the same ice cream, right? So coming out of the mindset of CS and moving on to CX is where omni-channel breaks. And then third is, team working in silos where I've had this problem, right? The CS team says, "अरे ये retail team ऐसा ही करती है sir, इनकी query आ गई," and the retail staff in their SM meetings, the annual SM meeting saying, "Oh, the CS team always has an issue when the customer comes to the store and fights." Retail is people, people is retail. So basically bringing teams together and making them understand is the same customer, even the online customer will always purchase online, and an offline customer typically will always purchase offline. It's our customer. So the 100% experience, the entire experience doesn't break. You need to give the same experience. So even if you bought online and let's say you don't like the fit and you want to do some measurements and you go to the store, do the measurements because we have masters at the store. They
Correct.
will still offer you the coffee, they'll still offer you the ice cream, they'll still offer you the grooming and the entire experience, right? That experience shouldn't break. So customer should feel
Correct.
that, yaar, maza aa gaya.
I mean, trust me, you know, I always say this thing, and it's true for every kind of brand, not just in terms of retail. I would say anywhere you take it, in terms of any aspect. Even if I say, banking, uh, remembrance make you feel like home,
Yeah, yeah,
right? So for example, if I talk about my father, he has a particular bank account. He goes to a particular branch, and that branch, his account is a little bit further from there, but that branch manager makes him feel like home. Whenever he goes there,
yeah.
the first thing is that he makes him sit, he offers him chai over there, बैठ के
Correct,
आराम से बात
correct,
करते हैं,
correct.
and that too when his account is not there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
His account is somewhere else in Delhi,
yeah.
but
So that's a
that kind of,
relationship
yeah.
manager before relationship management existed.
Absolutely, and trust me, they've made him put down money in fixed deposits and these
Yeah,
kind of things,
yeah,
and just because of him, making him sit, offering him
yeah.
that chai, talking about random thing. Once I went, he was pretty much friendly and talking about a lot of things, and he never talked about me spending money on these things. He was just talking
Yeah,
about me, what I do, what I like
yeah,
doing, where exactly I've studied from. So he's almost like around 50-55 of age, that
yeah,
particular
yeah.
person from that particular branch. But he makes you feel like home. Same goes for any kind of a brand. You enter, and if there's anyone who just smiles at you, remembering you, that is a difference. That is a
Correct.
major
So
difference.
somebody gave me a really good analogy about banks, right? Which is very relatable to what you just said, right? I remember my father and my grandfather used to have these great relationships with their bank managers, right? They used to always take out the time, spend time with my father, my grandfather, offer tea, coffee, and all of that. From that, when the new age banking came, when we moved on to real quick, you don't know anybody and all of that, to a time where, in retail banking, suddenly, the pens were tied to a chain,
Correct.
right? So now my father never invested in these banks, right? The thing is, if you don't trust me with a pen, how can I trust you with my money, right? So trust goes big. The thing here is trust, right? Did you have enough time to spend with me? Did you explain me everything? Did you offer me coffee? Have you built that relationship? It's all about that, it's taking out the interest and building that trust. So I mean that makes and breaks the entire experience. So look at this, no? We started with relationship management, which was the key role of a bank manager. To we moved
Correct.
into these online things where we got a little separated and all of that. And then we now have RMs again with most of the banks, and then that they publicize also that okay, now we have RMs and all of that. You're basically taking a full circle. With the AI thing happening and all of that very soon, and it's going to happen very soon where brands will advertise and say, hey, by the way, we have humans to talk to, like a USB, right? Uh, Again, you really have to understand the language of the brand and how you're setting up the CX, no? Like,
Correct.
we are a personalized brand. Bombay Shirt Company is known for personalization. Now, if the brand is personalized and the customer experience is robotic, it just doesn't go,
Hmm.
right? Just there's no handshake. So what can you? So do you not use AI? In fact, we're using more AI than any other retail brand. There are
Correct.
a lot of things where AI can be used. It's just not the quintessential place where everybody else is using. So that FOMO shouldn't drive your decisions. Now, oh, everybody
Correct.
else is doing this, so we should be doing it. Use it at the right place so that it has the maximum output.
Absolutely. So, just to have a better understanding from your end, what does like phygital actually means to you as a person, or I would say, with the background you have, what do you mean that what phygital is?
Well, digital again, as I said, it's an experience that doesn't make you feel that you're part of one group, that oh, I'm I'm this or I'm that. An experience where everybody feels like home, everybody knows you. You don't have to repeat the same. So here's the thing, right? A lot many people talk about, oh, every time I come to the store, there is somebody else, or every time I call, I have to repeat my problem again.
Hmm.
Now, is this so? Like, if we break it down on an emotion, so their business needs and emotional needs, as they call it in CX, right? Is the need that, oh, I don't want to repeat again, or is the need that I want to be heard as a human and recognized as a human, and I should people should know me. I'm not just a number or an order number or a customer number. I'm a human being and I have a relationship with you, so I should feel that this brand knows me and I know you. So digital is basically irrespective of where the discovery is happening and where the consideration is happening and where the purchase is happening. The after sales happens with the full intent, the complete knowledge, and the complete EQ that is required to deal with customer problems. It's beyond specific problems, but on an emotional level,
Absolutely.
relating with customers.
Mm. Absolutely. So, if you can share an example where, online and offline uh, truly worked for you, like seamlessly.
Um, Online and offline truly worked seamlessly, right? So I think the Mokomara guys are doing a fantastic job, right? I don't, I'm doing their promotion, but I think they're doing a great job in terms of, discovering the product online, going to the store, purchasing the products, and then if you have any problems, calling offline and getting it resolved. And vice versa, actually. If you bought it online, going to the store, you get the complete experience, the full 100% experience, right? It's not just about, see, there are a lot of stories where you've bought a product, it doesn't work well, and they've given you complete refund or given you a completely new product. I mean, that's not just about that. It's about the seamlessness of the entire transaction, right? I think Mokubara is really doing a great job in terms of building that. Comet is
I
another
agree.
new age shoe brand that's doing very, very well in terms of. And every time they open a store, there's a massive line outside.
Mm.
So hats off to them. Kudos to them. Carrot Lane again. Shout out to Avnish Anand. Carrot Lane is doing I mean, they've been doing this for a decade now. I think they're the pioneers of building this phygital experience, right? Uh, Discovering online, coming to the store, and when you visit the store, the guy knows exactly what you're looking at. Now,
Absolutely.
category like Carrot Lane, I mean, the category that Carrot Lane operates in, the experience, the store experience is very important for them. They also have a thing where you pay for 10 months and, 11th month is on them and then you can buy something. Now, if you take that offer offline and tomorrow if you try to purchase online, but you have some questions about the product that you're purchasing because you took on that 10 plus 1 offer at a store. And if you call at the store, the guy will give you complete experience and he's not going to make you feel as if, oh, why are you not placing an order with me? Why are you placing an order online? I was the one who onboarded you.
Mm.
Right. When that barrier of talking to someone goes away, where you don't have the guilt feeling, that yeah, his lead is going and he's giving me a half-hearted treatment. That's when you've truly built the right experience, right? Hats off to Caroline. I think they've done a fantastic job over there as well. That's why they're what they are.
See, this is a pretty much requirement on every aspect. Like, if I say, even for example, in a banking structure and in an NBFC structure, if you will see, if I'm on the application, I'm interacting to a salesperson, right? It shouldn't feel like, interacting with the salesperson that he's hungry for sales.
Yeah,
Because over the application itself, if for example I want to invest somewhere, I can do it on the application very easily. Nowadays every option is available over there, right?
correct.
And then whenever you try to discuss with those things with anyone like a regional manager or a relationship manager, anyone over there, right? They guide you properly. So there's a very good story I wanted to share with everyone and with you as well. So we work with this NVFC brand where so it's been more than 3.5 years we've been working with them. When we started, right, we so it's basically a money lending firm. So they started with small loans to people like, someone who wants to buy an iPhone, to someone who wants to buy a fridge, to these kind of things. A small loan of 25,000 to 50,000 to 1 lakh kind of a thing, depending on the kind of product you require, depending on the kind of salary structure you have, your CIBILs, and these kind of things. So 6 months down the line, we identified that out of 100 people who were doing KYC, right, 72% of the people were a drop off post KYC. And that is one of the most major aspect, I would say, for anyone to, you know, take a loan.
Yeah.
Right. That's almost like 70% of the process done. The 30% is
And
basic
that's the
documentation.
that's the most boring part. I mean, the part after the KYC is the fun part when the money comes.
Yeah, absolutely. But the point is that, to getting the documentation done, it was almost taking around 45 minutes to an hour for any sales executive to getting done on the call.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, whenever we identified that, almost 72% of the people were getting churn, more like a drop off for them, this is a business loss. And this is a very good amount of business loss. So we
Yeah.
identified almost 22% of the people over there were with bad CIBIL. So ab de hi nahi sakte unhe loan. You can't give them a loan. But almost 50% of the rest of the 50% of the people were there who could take a loan. They had chances of taking a loan. So what we did was we did a quarterly study with them where we took out all the data. We called those people and we wanted to understand that what made them drop off. Right. So when we talked to them, they were like, whenever we talk to a sales guy, they force us to complete the documentation over a call.
Hmm.
And whenever we ask them that, that is there any kind of an application where we can do it from, they don't give us a perfect reply. They were like कि sir मैं आपको बाद में कॉल करता हूँ, मैम मैं आपको बाद में कॉल करता हूँ. No worries, if you don't have 45 minutes to an hour at this point of time, इतना आपका documentation हो गया है, बाकी बाद में करते हैं. And most of the time Monday to Friday we don't have time, and Saturday Sunday is the day where exactly we are free. But Saturday Sunday most of the time the team is on a holiday, or the person who was supposed to call us wasn't available or something like that. And it
Yeah.
was not much of a loan. If I want 50,000 of rupees of loan, ठीक है, if I haven't got it, that's perfectly fine. It was not a mandatory kind of a thing. I was envisioning that I need something, but that's perfectly fine. Or I went with someone else because they helped me in terms of doing that. So when we backtracked, when we had a word with the executives, we found out that the sales incentive, whenever the documentation happened through the application, wasn't transferred to the person who initiated that call, who initiated that entire process. Right. So the incentive getting lost is something where exactly a proper demotivation for a sale executive to put in an effort on there.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right. The second thing was the audience needed some more different kind of products. Right. Not just an iPhone, not just a thing. I want to buy a
Hmm.
TV which is 1.5 lakh. Right. My salary is just around 35,000. So do I have a product on a higher rate of interest where exactly I can take it and I can buy it? Because I don't have a credit card, I don't have any kind of a loan where exactly I can take it over there. So is there a process of doing that? So they created, multiple different products. And when we backtracked, we pushed this information to them, it figured out that this is something which exactly is a problem. They connected the dots. They made sure that, whenever the first call is happened by a sales executive, even if the process is done through the application, the incentive gets to them. Trust me on this thing, their number massively increased.
Quite interesting, no? Such a massive insight. Something like this happened with us at O2, right? So, in UK and US, when you take a phone, they do a social security check, and the phones are on contract.
Correct.
They found out that a lot many people were giving us doing a social, but they're not closing the application. So what is wrong?
Mm.
Simple problem was they didn't know how much. So because it didn't mention step one, step two, step three, or four out of three steps completed, three out of four steps completed. There was no sense of okay, how much more is pending to finish this entire transaction. They used to feel अरे अब तो और बहुत time लगने वाला है यार छोड़ो बाद में करता हूँ and they used to leave. So they solved it by simply mentioning two out of four steps completed. तो हाँ अब दो ही और step बचे and suddenly that
Correct.
percentage went down.
Absolutely. So, Weber, we are talking a lot about personalization over here,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And customers do expect personalization. But, you know, if I ask you that, how much is too much over here, like in terms
Yeah.
of personalization?
So I'm glad you mentioned this. Right? It's a real problem for us. The moment the customer feels that entire experience is overwhelming, that's too much customization. Right? So we had
Hmm.
actually this problem like a year and a half ago, where we tried to replicate. So when you go to a store, you get to personalize everything.
Hmm.
But when you try to give the same experience online, there are too many steps and too much information. Now, remember, at a store, there is somebody who's explaining you what it is. Versus online, you have to put in a lot of effort. Though we try to put information against each step, but it's still a lot of information for a person to read.
Correct.
So our conversions online kept dropping, or in fact, it didn't go up. We had a massive problem there. Then what we did was we started creating sets. Now, oh, you're buying formals, these are presets. You still have all the options, but typically, there are 6 out of 12 things that don't matter to you. But 6 out of 12 things might matter to you. So there is a preset of collar, cuff, monogram, all of that. And you only make the changes of the steps that actually matter to you. We had a similar problem at stores where, when you go to a store and you're buying a made to measure shirt, they show you fabrics in a swatch. The staff used to show so many options that the table that the customer is sitting on was full. Now that's too much information for a customer to process. A customer
Hmm.
doesn't understand the difference between a houndstooth and a jacquard shirt. Customer doesn't,
Hmm.
and I shouldn't as well, right? So the moment the customer starts feeling overwhelmed with the information overload that is happening, that's too much customization. It doesn't really matter. For example, the right collar matters to me a lot because I kind of feel suffocated with the wrong collar, right? But for somebody else, it might not be such a big deal, right?
Correct.
Um, the monogram doesn't matter because I typically fold my cuffs. So any which ways, it's not visible. But for someone who wears proper formals with buttoned cuffs, for that person, maybe a monogram is very important, right? And then a brand has to understand that some things are extremely important, even if they're not being used that much. That you can't remove. For example, we have so much customization, right? But in the industry, we're still known by the name of a brand that does monograms on cuffs. Right? Every time somebody sees the cuff पे अरे VJS लिखा हुआ है वगैरह,
Hmm.
or for you it'll be JN. So suddenly अरे ये बॉम्बे शर्ट है क्या? अच्छा मोनोग्राम दिखा ना.
Hmm.
So those things are non-negotiable. That you can't break.
Correct. So, if I ask about, a little bit more on personalization, so what do you think? It's more about product or experience?
Um, I guess ideally it is both. For a customer who is product obsessed, it's product. And a customer who is experience obsessed is experience. I'll explain how that works, right? With the new generation, the customers are not product obsessed. They're experience obsessed, the Gen Zs, right? They are much more forgiving. They give you enough opportunities. Uh, they they are fine if the product has a little bit of a flaw here and there. They're more chill that means, right?
Mhm.
Millennials, not so much. They're either extremely obsessed with the product or they're extremely obsessed with the service. You will hardly find Gen Z complaining about, oh, there was a 15-minute wait time. They're chill. They're going to take that time. They're okay with that. Yeah. As long as you just keep them informed and you speak with them professionally and keep them happy. Gen Zs are less forgiving. Sorry, millennials are less forgiving. They're either in this party or that party, and you really need to understand which party they are on.
Got it. Um, you know, I've had a different kind of experience. What I would say that,
No.
millennials being someone who've seen a lot of things changing,
Yeah.
right? From non-traffic roads to traffic obsessed roads to stores where exactly you could enter and directly shop, or restaurants where exactly there were no waiting lines, to where you have to wait for an hour, right? If you're restaurant obsessed or these kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Gen Zs, I would say, being born in a time where exactly we have a lot of crowd.
Yeah.
They've been acclimatized to waiting times. They've been, there in terms of, understanding those kind of things. Even if I say, if we talk about boomers, like a generation above us, they are less patient.
They are less patient.
They are very
And
less
they're
patient.
clearly about product, not experience.
Absolutely. No, even if I say they are able to experience, it's harmful for them. I won't say harmful, might be a wrong word, but it's very discomfort for them where they have to wait a lot,
Yeah.
right? They would prefer not spending time for waiting a restaurant. They would, go to a place which is less happening, decent food, but, they need to save their time in terms of doing that.
Yeah.
Right. So
100%.
that changes with, I would say, the generation altogether. And
100%.
and there are multiple kind of people within the same generation itself. I've seen Gen Zs, they don't have patience at all. Even if there's a 15-20 minutes of thing, they think that, let's go somewhere else as well. I've seen those Gen Zs who have a lot of patience, who are forgiving, because they know that this is something which will happen, this might happen.
Yeah.
So I guess there are people on every aspect, on every generation, and that's what I said. You need to have that eye observing that what kind of person this
Correct. See,
person
there's
is.
see a country. See, the reason why international brands really struggle to set foot in India, or once they are in. By the way, Uniqlo is an exception. They're doing mind blowing. Uh,
Trust me, this is one of my, favorite brands. Not just in
hundred
terms
percent.
of, the kind of service they provide, but I would say the kind of product understanding they have. It is very customer friendly products.
100%. 100%. Customer centric, great quality. I mean, their
Absolutely.
trial experience mind blowing with the kind of crowd they're getting. That's why they're zero marketing and they're doing so much revenue. I think that's a case study. But yeah, very few customers, so very few international brands understand India and struggle in India because first of all, they don't understand. So India sales happens because of seasonality and it's around festivals. They are
Correct.
used to festivals being on the same date.
Hmm.
इंडिया में फेस्टिवल्स चेंज होता रहता है कभी दिवाली
Hmm.
अक्टूबर में आ गई कभी पहले आ गई कभी बाद में आ गई सो दे कीप वंडरिंग कि यार ये क्या हो रहा है ये तो हमको तो लगा था अभी ये होगा दे आर यूज्ड टू अ पर्टिकुलर trend. India, the trend changes. Your trend in South is different than the trend in North. The trend in East is
Absolutely.
different than the West. Category wise, the trend changes. Region wise, it changes. So India is so diverse, right? You can't really get the same type of experience. So they thrive on same type of experience to everybody. Like
Hmm.
what is the so McDonald's works because you go to every McDonald's, it gives you the same experience. How did it work here? In India, they changed. In every country that they go, they change.
Absolutely. See, you have to. India is, I would say, for any kind of a brand, Indians have, any Indian founder has an Indian mentality. They know India as a country, India as a people, everyone. But
Yeah.
someone who belongs to a foreign land, India is a case study for them.
100%. You go to
India is a
Europe, right?
very different case study for them. Like,
You go to Europe,
I've
they only have blacks, blues, that's it, grays.
correct.
इंडिया में वो बिकेगा ही नहीं. इंडिया
नहीं,
को चाहिए
इंडिया
कलर.
में अगर ब्लैक ब्लू आपके पास है, सब कुछ है, बट यू नो that would be a very different genre who'll buy.
Correct.
Like a person like me, I would say, I have 10 different black shirts. I have like 5 different black suits. Why? Because I prefer wearing black and blue as a color because that is
Yeah.
more formal.
Yeah.
Right. I won't prefer wearing a, red suit to a wedding or
Exactly my
somewhere.
point. India, you will find multiple people with personal choices.
Yeah,
There,
and I've
आप
seen
रोड पे
people.
चलो सब ब्लू पहन के घूम रहे हैं.
ट्रस्ट मी, नो, बट आई सीन इंडिया में इतना सेगमेंटेड सेक्टर है. इफ यू heard about that brand Selected,
Yeah.
right? Very nice brand, one of the most, I would say, liked brand by me as well. They have a very good quality, very good products. And they had this, rust red suit. So I have a friend who is like, he's a fan of Bombay Shirt as well. He has a lot of clothes now,
Awesome.
and he was the one who introduced me to Bombay Shirt.
Awesome.
Right. And so I've never seen him wearing, anything like this. But he experimented, and trust me, I saw that and I was like, oh wow, this is something very different. So, for a person who is more into black, white, and gray or blue, when they
Yeah.
see things worn by some other people and they like it, it motivates them to try something that as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's the kind of a thing. But yeah, we have India again, as I mentioned, is a different kind of a case study altogether.
Correct. Mind
So
blowing study, right?
one thing, where I want to understand from you specifically on that, where do you think that a lot of brands are failing in terms of personalization?
So they are again making decisions basis FOMO. A lot of brands are making decisions basis FOMO. कि यार उन्होंने शुरू कर दिया तो आओ हम भी करें. I will
Hmm.
not name my competitors. A lot of set brands of ready-to-wear shirts, and you
Hmm.
name whoever, right? I can't name them, but you would know whom I'm talking about. They all started dabbled with made to measure. They all failed.
Hmm.
So there was a time where you go to every all these. So you go to every mall. There are these fixed ready-to-wear shirt brands, formal shirt brands, right? There was a time where everybody had a small kiosk of made to measure.
Correct.
Doing it because अरे FOMO कोई और कर रहा है तो आओ हम भी करें, right? So when you get into that, then you fail because A, your infra is not ready for it. B, your culture is not culture eats strategy for breakfast. So if you're going against the very fabric of the culture that everybody in your staff, in your retail teams, and the entire organization, bottom down, top up, is following, then it's not going to work. And as I said, some things for some customers are important in terms of customizations, the others are not. So, who are your customers and what is important for them? So, for example, Soul Store, right? I worked with Soul Store, fantastic brand, doing really, really well. Every time you place an order at Soul Store, you get a handwritten note from a founder, right? So,
Yeah.
there's this sticky notes that you get, mind blowing,
Correct.
right? Mind blowing. They look handwritten, they're printed obviously, but they look
Hmm.
very handwritten. So you feel, oh, a letter has come to us. And always talks about, hey, you're a pop culture fan and you like they give you so personalization in terms of making you feel part of a larger community of fans. So let's say you're a Batman fan. Makes you feel that, hey, thank you for ordering a Batman shirt. We love Batman fans. We are also a Batman fan, etc., etc., etc.
Hmm.
So personalization, not in terms of putting a monogram, but in terms of making you feel in a part of a larger community, and they're doing quite well there, right? We can't really replicate that. Or we started making decisions, oh, they're just doing really well for them. Let's start doing that here as well. It doesn't go with the brand fabric that we have. So when you make decisions basis FOMO, that's where you fail.
Correct. See, I'll give you a very different example in terms of personalization or something. I would say, you know, with my first company. So I started my career with Byju's, right? And not there now, but I would say, that helped shape a lot of people's career at a different level, different
Yeah.
pace,
So
gave
one second,
them,
I have to change places for
sure, sure,
that.
sure.
Yeah. Sure, continue.
So, what exactly? So it was more like a, I would say, like a catalyst for a lot of people's growth,
Yeah.
right? So recently I saw a post on LinkedIn. That girl mentioned that uh, her parents received a letter from the organization, her completing 1 year, and appreciating her parents of bringing that values and those kind of things
Yeah.
that the employee had. I saw that thing happening in 2016, right? So when I converted from an internship to the the full time role,
Yeah.
a letter was sent to my parents at my residential address, appreciating them that your son has this, that, and this was not just me. Everyone who completed that had that.
Yeah.
Parallel to that, once I completed my first year, the letter again went over there. And trust me, my father used to call me. And he used to say, "Tere baiju se, wo
Yeah.
aaya hai."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, and it used to feel different. It used to feel, welcoming,
Yeah.
that this is something what exactly, the values are. People talk about a lot of culture over there. Aisa tha, waisa tha. Trust me on this thing, I would say it was a tough competition over there, which made people feel like that. But for people like us, it was more like a different kind of a push, different kind of an understanding. I would say if I would have gone on a legacy organization, I would have learned very slowly. That gave
Yeah.
me a kind of a push. My experience within that 3 years was very different from what exactly I would have had in the rest of the things. So yeah, so that is also a kind of a personalization what I've seen a lot of organizations doing now,
Yeah.
right? With their
100%.
employees, making them feel special.
Yeah.
So I have like a lot of things to ask, but I'll just try to put it in a couple of questions. So, this is something what I actually want to understand, because I've seen a lot of people trying in store and buying it online. So, do you
Yeah.
think that the centers are becoming like the stores are becoming experience centers, or they are just fulfillment points?
Both actually. Just one second. I'm figuring out the charge. So just give
Sure,
me a
sure,
second.
sure, no worries.
Right. So our stores becoming experience centers. Um, so they've always been experience centers, right? So here's the hard truth. Lenskart, which is mind blowing in terms of their stores, right? Like nobody scales to 2000 stores without doing something right. So kudos to them,
Absolutely.
right? Uh, you can't, they started with on the premise that Lenskart will give you lenses online. So it's the convenience of placing an order for glasses online. And then they moved to offline because they understood that experience is very important. But kudos to them that their home visit category is doing very well.
Hmm.
It's like, I mean, it is mind blowing. I don't know whether you've tried it. So you can request for someone to come to your house. They will do the entire test at your house. They will carry a set of glasses at your house, and you can make a decision and buy immediately. So they give you that convenience. But if you go to any of their stores over the weekend, you will see massive lines. As a retailer, I mean, that's
Hmm.
something that you I mean, that's something that you pray for, right? You want to see your store having that. And every weekend you go to a Lenskart store in any of the malls, there is massive lines over there.
Hmm.
So essentially, stores are experience centers. And that you
Correct.
have to 100% agree with. And that's what I'm saying, right? So your staff needs to understand it doesn't matter whether the customer is buying offline or it's buying online. Your job is to give the complete experience to a customer and leave it at that and let the customer make the decision that the customer wants to make. If the lines are blurred around that and the staff doesn't have the clarity on what their roles are, that's when the problem arises. You need to be
Yeah,
very
it's more like doing something where you don't have an understanding of.
correct. So again, going back to my sleeping cat experience, right? Buying a mattress online, halaki they did a massive job, mind-blowing job in D2C, right? And now they started opening stores, and that has suddenly given us them 2x, 3x growth.
Absolutely. Yeah, see, a lot of like other mattress stores are they call themselves experience centers.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
they
There's nothing wrong.
specifically position them. Yeah, they position them in terms of an experience center because uh, till the time you don't experience a mattress, it's difficult for you to buy it.
Yeah, shout out to Kabir. I placed an order at Sleepy Cat. The mattress got delivered and there was some problem. So called the CX. Now I know the founder. I worked at Sleepy Cat, right? So I know the founder. But I called the customer experience team and now I'm not part of them. So whoever is running it, Divya I know is running it. So mind blowing job there. When I called them, they arranged somebody to come from the Andheri store. So they understand that, okay, now you've opened the mattress already, you've put it on the bed. That itself is quite a tedious task.
Tough
You
task,
want to,
correct? Yeah.
right now, you want to now change it, and it's their fault. They made some mistakes. So it's their fault. Something broke in their operations. Um, so rather, even before I asked, she arranged somebody to come down to my house from the Andheri store and the guy then actually did the entire job. I could have easily said, "Arey, that's not my job. Yaar. Why should I go to the store, customer's
Hmm.
house and do it?" But it's an experience center. You're leveraging
Absolutely.
stores to give better experience to customers.
Hmm. Yeah, and I guess that should definitely happen if you have a store nearby, if you have something. So I'll just give you an example of something on a peak COVID level. So Wonder Chef has a store, same in DLF Mall of India.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what they did was
quite well. Huh?
they are doing quite well, and their products are great as well.
Yeah, yeah,
So, while COVID was happening, what they did was they made a WhatsApp group of all their customers who visited and bought something from their store. And currently as well, they have that WhatsApp group. And whenever there's a new product which is getting launched or which is getting, which is coming on the way, they post that thing on the WhatsApp group regularly. The store manager over there at that point of time, so I needed like a grilling pan. So I just texted that, do you guys have a grilling pan? So he called me personally. He told me that, sir, ये price है, अभी ऐसा ऐसा discount चल रहा है, this is the thing. And just because it was COVID, he asked me, sir, would you be able to come to the store? I was like, no. So he said, no worries, give me 2 days time because the inventory and everything is getting sorted out over here. I'll get it delivered to your house. And he sent an executive to my house getting it delivered over there. And then at that point of time he had a QR code where exactly you can scan and pay it. It was not even that आपको prepay करना पड़ेगा तब हम मंगाएंगे नहीं. And at this point of time as well, whenever you inquire anything on the WhatsApp group, the store manager gives you a call. He explains you everything. He tells you that sir ये price है इतना best price पड़ेगा ऐसे होगा वैसे होगा, and you can come down at this time. Now even if you say that if you can get it delivered, so he says ki whenever you're visiting the mall we can help you out getting it placed in the car or something like that, or if this is something we can get it delivered but post working hours.
yeah, yeah. Just so much effort goes in building these type of experiences. And I'm sure when this Wonder Chef ka retail head or L&D head or the founder, when he hears this and all of that, he'll feel the joy कि अच्छा ठीक है, so we're doing this right.
Trust me, this is something which
Sometimes,
is beyond
huh,
experience.
beyond experience, and sometimes you don't see that in metrics. You don't see that in NPS, or you don't see that in CSAT or any other metrics, right? Metrics, right? But this word of mouth is what makes or breaks the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And even with us, I'll again give an example of Baiju. So we started with these home demos where we used to counsel the kid, we used to talk to the parents, we used to show the product and everything, and then once they agreed, we used to place an order with the inventory, and then everything used to get delivered. But a lot of times, whenever when exams were going on, parents were like, sir, ek hafte 10 दिन में deliver होगा. Is it possible that can we get it early? Right. So we had a personalized inventory there at every office where you used to go there, you used to talk to the inventory manager, they used to, set the product then and there. अगर आप courier भी कर रहे हो, तो it again takes around 5 days. कि वो order place होगा, the courier bike will come in, it'll take, and then they get it delivered. So a lot of times we as executives we used to take the product and get it delivered personally,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Just to
No, I
make
mean,
sure that they have that kind of an experience.
and these all backups that you create, right? Contingencies that you create. This comes from experience. So Byju's was definitely doing something right. That's why they reached where they reached.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, a couple of last questions, Vaibhav, which you know, if I talk about retail as a brand, or specifically if I talk about Bombay Shirt, what do you think majorly is the reason of customers coming back? Whether it's the product, it's the price, or the experience?
So they come for the product, but they come back for the experience. So so when a customer comes to the store, he comes because maybe he's seen the right marketing. He's looking, so discovery has happened online, or he's looking for a particular formal shirt. People sometimes, just want to try a formal shirt. So they come and they buy one shirt. And then, so 60% of our business is through repeat business. Our NPS is above 72, goes up till 77 in good months. Uh, our repeat customer AOV is massive. It's maybe 4 times or 5 times than any other apparel brand, my competitors, right? Uh, why does that happen? Our refund percentage is less than 1%, which is unheard of in apparel industry, right? Less than 1%, unheard of. And we do a 30-day trial on a customized shirt. So that means this shirt is made just for you as per your measurements. If you don't like it, then we'll have to throw it away, but you still can return and get 100% refund.
So this is more like confidence on your product and the quality.
Correct. So what works for us is the customer comes for a particular product. He's looking for formal shirts. He's looked at the marketing. He knows there is a store. So okay, let me go give it a try. But once he experiences the entire thing, he comes back and buys three, four, five shirts together.
Correct. So, if I ask you, something, I ask a lot of people about,
So my
and
boss
every
actually,
industry
sorry,
has a
my founder Chippy Mehta always says, marketing owns the consumer. You own the customer.
agreed,
Yeah.
and this is something very true, on a lot of aspects. So what I was asking Vaibhav over here, because I asked this thing to people from CX in different industries, because every industry has a different thought process altogether, different
Yeah.
process and these kind of things. So do you think one bad experience break loyalty instantly?
So in my experience, it can go either ways. In fact, one bad experience, if the service recovery is done well, it gives you an opportunity to build a longer time relationship. I'll give you an example. So How do we handle NPS, right? I have a team that contacts every single customer who gives us a negative. And the efficacy, so what gets measured gets managed, right? The efficacy of that team is tracked on what percentage of these customers came back. You would not believe that 50% of these customers repeat over 4 months. So a bad experience is actually an opportunity to see. It's like, you have a fight with someone, and but once and if the fight is resolved and you make up, then in fact the relationship becomes stronger because oh अरे झगड़ा कर लिया अब ज्यादा ही बोल दिया मैंने इसको बट ये तो आदमी तो अच्छा है
Mm.
as compared to so what's worse is a customer who's not happy with your product and he's not telling you that he's not happy.
Mm.
That's worse. And you would never come to know. And that works perfectly for you guys, your service and so. You want customers
Because
to tell you that you're not happy.
I'll tell you, this is something what I've told to a lot of people, and I'll tell you as well. A person who's coming down to you as a negative is much better than a person who's silent,
Yeah,
right? A
100%.
person who's silent is, I would say, we always say this is a saying that, beware of the people who are not saying anything in the room.
Yeah. See, the amount of customers who have had a problem with us. If I had a penny for every customer who had a problem with us and we solved the problem and then he called me back again or I found her back again saying that, hey, by the way, we want to invest in you guys or we want to take a franchisee, I would have been a millionaire. I am telling you, so many customers, they first start off with a problem and then we solve for the problem and we solve it so well. The customer says, hey, by the way, guys, are you guys opening in Surat because I want a franchise? Are you guys opening in Indore? I want a franchise. So
I
it's
get
an
it.
opportunity actually. Yeah.
So if I ask, like, for all those new age brands which are coming in, right? Bombay Shirt is now at a different segment, different level. So just for like a little bit gyan for the new age brands who are actually coming into the picture, like, what do you think that what is that one small thing which brands can actually do to make their customer remember them?
So one thing that they can do too,
Make sure that the customer remembers them.
well, stop looking at customers in terms of numbers. Start looking at them in terms of people. Stop creating silos in teams and barriers. Start giving a unified experience to a customer. So stop holding in CX order to carry ratio is this ultimate North Star. Stop holding order to carry ratio as a North Star.
Hmm.
It doesn't really make or break you guys. In fact, sometimes higher order to query ratios can give you better experience. So
Got it.
encourage customers to have. So I see a lot of brands avoiding means of customer contacting you. And why would you do that? And on the other hand, you promote your social media so that people comment on it. So, I mean, here there is a customer who's coming to you and trying to talk to you. Why are you avoiding that, right? Give them the
Hmm.
opportunity.
Absolutely. So, little bit on the rapid fire, like I'll throw a couple of questions to you. Just
Sure.
give me like a, you know, whatever comes into your mind first. So, if I ask you, like, online or offline, what wins today?
Starts with online. It ultimately has to go to offline.
Got it.
Online is wider, offline is deeper.
Got it. So, one CX myth in retail.
One CX Smith myth in retail is that CX only order handles complaints.
Okay.
It doesn't
One,
actually. It doesn't.
absolutely.
We're not complaints. We are not a complaints department. In fact, if a customer comes to your store and says, "Oh, the smell of the store can be a little better," that's CX.
See, CX is being about proactive, not reactive.
Correct. Correct. 100%. Yeah.
So, one overused buzzword in retail.
One overused buzzword. Uh, I mean, a lot many people will not like me for this, but AI
Okay.
chatbots. Sorry, let me rephrase. Chatbots.
Okay. And one underrated CX lever.
One underrated the retention team, the CX retention team that contacts customers. I mean, they make or break your business.
If I say like future of retail in one line,
Omnichannel, omnichannel experience, not omnichannel sales.
got it. That's it from my side, Weber. Thank
Awesome,
you. I
Judge.
guess this is something very informative, very interactive, I would say, and something not just me, as I would say, but a lot of people who will be looking at this, irrespective of the industry they belong to. And thank you for promoting a lot of brands. So I guess if anyone from those brands see, I would say you should definitely
Listen,
give him
I'm
some
telling you, the
credit.
entire industry works very, very hard, so they deserve the praise, man. All of us, we're trying to build experiences for customers, and last thing we should do is not remember them, right? The whole point is remembering. But hey, Jayesh, thank you so much for inviting me here, man. It was such a pleasure talking to you. So many insights from you as well. And you got to come down, and we need to have some North Indian food together.
This is this week itself. Like, let's connect offline post this call, and then let's plan something by this week itself. And I would love to, visit some of your stores as well to see how the entire
100% you're
structure
invited.
is.
100%. All right. Pleasure meeting you,
Thank you,
man.
Weber. Thank you so much. Same here. Bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.